Ladies and gentlemen, the Annapolis District Drama Group regrets to announce the indisposition of Miss Rachel Chi-Chi. At this evening's performance, the part of storekeeper will be played by Mr. Samuel Cripps of the Tatagagouche Players. Thank you.
Good evening. This is a safety announcement for the audience at King's Theatre, currently awaiting the departure of the railway children at 19:30. Please be aware that cell phones must be switched off during the performance. In the event of the need for evacuation, please note the emergency exits to the front and the rear of the theater. Customers are reminded that the use of flash photography during the performance is prohibited. Parents and guardians are reminded to make sure that their children are supervised at all times. Any unsupervised children will be given the job of shoveling coal for the rest of the performance. Please note that it is not permitted to ride bicycles, skateboards, or use rollerblades at any time in the theater. The buffet car will be open for drinks and snacks in the foyer during the intermission. Pre-ordered refreshments can be claimed from the London bar adjacent to the ticket office. Please do not leave luggage unattended anywhere on the station. Any unattended luggage will be removed without warning and may be destroyed. If for any reason you need to leave the auditorium during the performance, please do so via the side door at the rear. The next play at King's Theatre is the 1930, The Railway Children, commencing with Act 1 and followed by Act 2. The next play at King's Theatre is the 1930, The Railway Children.
Mother did not spend all her time in paying dull calls to dull ladies and sitting dully at home waiting for dull ladies to pay calls to her.
Now then, children, shall I read aloud to you?
Yes, please.
Then gather round. Here is a new story which I have just written for you. It's about a funny little creature called a sand fairy.
And she always made up funny little pieces of poetry for our birthdays and for other great occasions.
Which reminds me, my birthday and the model engine. My engine! My beautiful engine!
Why are Peter's eyes all red?
I expect he has a cold starting, Phil.
Do you suppose Father can fix it? He can mend all sorts of things.
We shall ask him when he returns home from being away in the country. But do wait until he's had his dinner first. He'll need to be heroically unselfish and patient. Now then, dear, if you are quite rested and quite comfy, we should like to tell you about the great railway accident and ask your advice.
All right, fire away.
The boiler exploded. It was...
An accident!
Is there no hope?
Oh, hope, rather. Tons of it. But it shall want something beyond hope. A spot of brazing, say, and perhaps some solder, and maybe a new valve. I think we should put this away for a rainy day. Or, in other words, I should give up Saturday afternoon to it, and you shall all help me.
Can girls help to mend engines?
Well, of course they can. Girls are just as clever as boys, and don't you forget it. How would you like to be an engine driver, Phil?
My face would always be dirty, wouldn't it? And I expect I should break something.
I should just love it. Do you think I could when I'm grown up, Daddy? Or even a stoker?
Oh, you mean a fireman? Well, if you still wish it, when you're grown up, we'll see about making you a firewoman. Now, I remember when I was a boy... Oh, who on earth? Well, an Englishman's home is his castle, of course, but I do wish they built semi-detached villas with a moat and drawbridge.
Please, sir, there are two gentlemen who would like to speak to the master. I'll show them into the library, sir.
I expect it's a subscription to the vicar's testimonial. That or the holiday choir fund. Oh, get rid of them quickly, dear. It does break up an evening so, and it's nearly the children's bedtime.
I wish we had got a moat and drawbridge. Then, when we didn't want people, we could just pull up the drawbridge and no one else could get in. I expect Father will have forgotten about when he was a boy if they stayed much longer.
Well, then let me tell you a new fairy story about a princess with green eyes.
It doesn't sound like they're talking about testimonials or holiday fun.
Hush, Billy!
They're going now. He's run to have them shown out.
Please, ma'am, the master would like you to just step into his study. He looks like the dead man. I believe he's had bad news. You best prepare yourself for the worst. Perhaps it's a death in the family or a bank busted.
That'll do, Ruth. You can go. It's bedtime. Ruth can put you to bed.
But you promised we should sit up late tonight because Father's come home.
Father's been called away on business. Come, my loves, go at once.
It wasn't bad news, Mummy, was it? Is anyone dead,
Oh,
or...?
nobody's dead. No, I can't tell you anything tonight. Go, my love, go now.
I say, Ruth, what's up?
Don't ask me no questions, and I'll tell you no lies. You'll know soon enough.
If Mother doesn't want us to know she's been crying, we won't know it. That's all.
Oh, good evening, ma'am. The children have been asking after you all day. I did tell them you'd gone up to London and wouldn't be back till late, but they'd fair insisted
It was a very tiring and unsatisfactory day. Oh, please go and find the children for me.
Here's your mother now, just returned. Don't you pester her with no questions. I'll fetch her a cup of tea.
Now then, children, I should like to tell you something. Those men last night did bring very bad news indeed, and Father shall have to be away for some time. I'm very worried about it, and I need you to help me and not to make things harder for me.
Well, as if we would.
You can help very much by being good and happy, and by not quarreling while I'm away, for I shall have to be away a good deal.
Indeed, we will.
Then you can also help by not asking me any questions about this trouble. And I want you not to ask anybody else any questions either. You will promise me this too, won't you?
I did ask Ruth. I'm very sorry, but I did.
And what did she say?
She said I should know soon enough.
It isn't necessary for you to know anything. It's about business, and you never do understand business, do you?
No. Is there something to do with the government? Father is in a government office, isn't he?
Yes. Now it's bedtime. And don't you worry about it, my dears. It will all work out in the end.
Oh, then don't you worry either, Mother, and we'll all be as good as gold.
Everything continued to be perfectly horrid for some weeks. Mother was nearly always out, and when she was home, she looked worse and worse. Until one morning.
Well, that settles it. We will go live in the country. Such a ducky, dear little house. I know you'll love it. We shall have to pack up the things that we need. We'll need to take clothing.
Such fun. This is like going to the seaside.
And crockery, blankets, candlesticks, carpets, bedsteads, and even fenders and fire irons.
This isn't like going to the seaside.
Are you going to pack this, Mother?
We can't take everything.
But we seem to be taking all the ugly things.
We're taking the useful ones. We're going to need to play at being poor for a bit, my ducky loves. Now then, Ruth, here's the letter of reference that I promised you. You will find a new position in no time, I have no doubt. We are sorry to lose you. Thank you for all of your loyal years of service.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Great, missus. All your furniture is packed. Sid, you grab that case. I'll take this and...
Right you are, Joe. You'll be catching the 11:10, will you? First class, is it?
No, second, thank you.
Looks like first class quality.
Indeed.
Now then, my loves, we're off to the station. We have a long journey ahead of us, and I do hope to arrive before it gets quite dark. Oh, hush, my darlings. We've arrived. I wonder why she shut the shutters.
Who's she?
Mrs. Viney, the woman I engaged to clean the place and set the furniture right and to get supper ready.
I expect Mrs. Viney's got home. Your train was that late, see?
But she's got the key. What are we to do?
Oh, she'll have left that under the doorstep. Folks do hereabouts. Aye. Here it is, right enough.
Thank you. May I borrow your lamp, please?
Oh, what's that?
Oh, it's only the rats.
Oh dear, I wish we hadn't come.
Only the rats?
Oh, what fun. How frightened the poor mice were. I don't believe there were any rats at all. Well, you've often wanted something to happen, and now it has. This is quite the adventure. I asked Mrs. Viney to get some bread and butter and meat and things, and to have supper ready. Why, that horrid old woman. I think she's just gone off with the money and not left us anything to eat at all.
Then we shan't have any supper at all.
Yes, only it'll mean unpacking this case. Peter, dear, hold the light. Come along, Bobby. It's a real feast.
Sardines and candied peel.
Biscuits and marmalade.
Preserved ginger.
Well, it's a good thing that Ruth packed up all the odds and ends on the storage cupboard.
Raisins.
No, Phil. Don't put the marmalade spoon in among the sardines.
I won't, Mother.
Let's drink to Ruth now. What should we have done if she hadn't packed up these things? Here's to Ruth.
To Ruth, and all who sail in her.
Now then, good night, chickies. I'm sure there are no rats, but I will leave my door open, and then if a mouse comes along, all you do is scream, and I will tell it exactly what I think of it.
Oh, what's that?
Pie.
Pie?
Apple pie.
Apple pie for breakfast. How perfectly written.
Then we're not poor after all.
This is the supper we should have had. I found it in that room that we thought was the storage cupboard. And there was a letter from Mrs. Viney. Her son-in-law has broken his arm and she had to get home early. She's planning to come back again this morning. Good morning. May I help you?
Oh, I expect so. Viney's the name. Hilda Viney now. Ma'am, Mrs.
Do come in. We were just talking about you.
Oh, I see you found your supper then. Funny time to be having it, though.
Now then, children, it's time to sort out our new home. Phyllis, take the dishes into the cellar, please. Peter, the cases can go into the cellar. And Bobby.
I'll shake out the tablecloth.
Now then, Mrs. Viney, that leaves just you and me. Shall we tackle some of the unpacking?
You show me what needs sorting, and I shall help sort it out, ma'am. Ma'am, Mrs.
This is just see the line of the railway. Oh, and the black yawning mouth of the tunnel. The station where we arrived last night. Well, that must be out of sight. Ooh, in the far distance, a great bridge with tall arches running across one end of the valley.
Now then, dears, that will do for today. I shall go lie down for an hour so as to be fresh as a lark for supper time. You three, go off and explore.
Where shall we go?
To the railway.
There are the tracks and telegraph wires and posts and signals.
And there's the train.
I never thought we should get as near a train as this. It's the most ripping sport.
I wonder if that train's going to London. London's where Father is.
The green dragon's going where Father is. If it really were a real dragon, we could stop it and ask it to take our love to Father.
Dragons don't carry people's love. They'd be above it.
Yes, they do, if you chain them thoroughly first. I wonder why Daddy never writes to us.
Mother says he's been too busy, but we'll write soon, she says.
I say, let's all wait for the green dragon. If it's really a magic dragon, it'll understand and take our loves to Father. And if it isn't, freeways aren't much. We shall never miss them.
I wonder if the green dragon really was going to London.
Let's go down to the station and find out.
What a pretty little station.
There's the booking office and the waiting room.
And the crossing gate? And a huge pile of coal. Peter, why is there a white line painted on the coal? Do you think it's important?
I don't know. Don't suppose so.
And here's the timetable. And now I wonder which train was the green dragon.
How do you do?
How do you do? Yes?
Could I ask you 2 questions?
Well, that depends on what they are. I can't be spending all day conversationalizing with the junior public. Now, what are they?
Is the green dragon going to London?
Green dragon? Whatever you're talking about, young miss.
I'm sorry, she means the last train, the green one. Is it going to London?
Oh, well, that would be the 9:15 up. So it'll reach London. Eventually. Green dragon, I can see how you mean it.
And what's that white line on the coal heap for?
Oh, that's to show how much coal he has. So we know if anyone nicks it. So don't be going off with none of your pocket, young gentlemen. Now, if you excuse me, young miss, I've got lots to do, because the station master's getting his hair cut and leave, and Perks must be of others.
Perks? Who's Perks?
Me, missy, I'm Perks. Oh, right on time.
What is?
Oh, this here's the Scots Flyer.
Why is it going so slowly, Mr. Perks?
Why, it's all uphill to Scotland, and this train's going to Scotland.
If Daddy's not in London, he's in Scotland. And that train is going to Scotland.
Perhaps, Phil.
Oakwood Station! Oakwood! Mind the doors, please!
But we did not forget him. We got used to not going to school.
But we also got used to seeing very little of Mother, who was now almost all day shut up in her upstairs room, writing. She used to come down at tea time and read aloud the stories she'd written. They were lovely stories. Mother had told us once that we were quite poor now, but this did not seem to be anything but a way of speaking.
There was always enough to eat.
And we wore the same kinds of nicer clothes we'd always worn.
Until one wet, old day joke.
Mother, make I light a fire. I do know how.
No, my ducky love. We mustn't have fires in June. Coal is so dear. If you're cold, go and have a romp in the attic after supper. That'll warm you.
But Mother, it only takes such very little coal to make a fire.
It's more than we can afford, my chickadee love. Now then, when you're done eating, do run off. There's dears. I'm madly busy.
Mother's always busy now.
Hush, Phil, I'm thinking.
Jam or butter, dear, not jam and butter. We can't afford that sort of reckless luxury nowadays.
I have an idea.
What's that?
I shan't tell you.
Well, very well. Don't then.
The only reason why I won't tell you my idea is because it may be wrong, and I don't want to drag you into it.
Well, don't you do it if it's wrong, Peter. Let me do it.
I should like to do wrong if you're going to.
No, it's a forlorn hope, and I'm going to lead it. All I ask is that if Mother asks where I am, you won't blab.
We haven't got anything to blab.
Well, if Mother asks where I am, tell her I'm playing at mines.
So I've caught you, have I, you young thief?
I'm not a thief, I'm a coal miner.
Tell that to the Marines, because the sailors won't believe you.
It'd be just as true, no matter who I told it to.
You're right there. Stow your jaw, you young rip, and come along with me to the station.
Oh, no.
Not the police station.
No, not yet. Just the railway station. Are there any more of you?
Only us.
What do you mean by spying on a fellow like this?
Time someone spy on you, I think. Why, you're the children from the Three Chimneys, and so nicely dressed too. Tell me, what would make you do such a thing? Haven't you been to church or learned your catechism not to know it's wicked to steal?
I didn't think it was stealing. In fact, I was almost certain it wasn't. I thought perhaps if I took it from the outside part of the heap, then it would have been stealing. But I thought in the middle I could fairly count it only mining. It'll take you thousands of years to burn up all that coal to get to the middle parts.
Not quite. But did you do it for a lark or what?
How much lark casting that beastly heavy stuff up the hill?
Then why did you?
You remember that wet day?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mother said we were too poor to have a fire. We always had fires when it was cold at our other house.
Don't.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll overlook it this one time. But you remember, young gentlemen, that stealing is stealing. And what's mine isn't yours, whether you call it mining or whether you don't. Now run along home.
You mean you aren't going to do anything to us? Well, you are a brick.
You're a dick.
You're a darling.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. You run along home now and we'll say no more about this.
This afternoon, Mrs. Viney?
No, Mrs. Expect me down at the station again, getting under Kurtz's feet as like as not.
No, I don't think so. It's almost as if they've been avoiding the station for the past few weeks. Though why that should be, I haven't the slightest idea.
Well, they have fair carved path through the turf, with a little footfall, down the hillside to where it overlooks the line.
Yes, Phyllis was telling me that they've named all the trains. There's the Green Dragon, the Worm of Wantley, because it goes so slowly, and the fearsome Fly-by-Night.
Oh, that'll be the Midnight Express, I'll be bound.
Oh, trains of names. Now an idea for a story has just popped into my head, Mrs. Viney. I must get it down before it escapes. Oh dear. Another story come home to roost. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh, you and your story writing. Still, it helps keep the wolf
will surely tell Father how his 3 children stand on a hillside beside the rails, far away in the green countryside, and wave their love to him each morning.
Wet or fine. And so, day after day, we did just that.
We waved to the 9:15.
The Green Dragon.
And the nice old gentleman would wave back. I suppose by then we were the rowdy children.
Although we tended to avoid visiting the station.
And life continued in a very pleasant routine until...
I've sent for Dr. Forrest, Mum. There's a lot of catchy complaints going on right about now. Well, my sister's eldest, she got a chill and it went right to her inside not 2 years ago, come Christmas. She's not been the same girl since. Here he is.
Hello. Hello there. Say ah. Influenza, I'm afraid. Now, Lady Greybears, I suppose you'd like to be head nurse.
Of course.
Well then, I'll send down some medicine. Keep a good fire going. Have some hot beef tea made, ready to give her as soon as the fever goes down. She can have some grapes now, beef essence, soda water, and some milk. And you better get in a bottle of brandy, the best brandy. Cheap brandy's worse than poison.
Please, Dr. Forrest, would you write all that down?
Certainly, my dear. Would you hold my bag? And a bottle of brandy. And you better eat yourself. You need some rest. We can't afford to have the head nurse ill. Good day.
Thank you.
Oh, nonsense. I can't afford all that rubbish. Mrs. Viney, can you boil 2 pounds of scrag of mutton for the children's dinner tomorrow? And I can have some of the broth. Yes, my dear. I should like to have some water now. And could you get a basin and sponge my hands?
The doctor said that Mother needs strong beef, grapes, soda water, milk, and a bottle of brandy. Best brandy, but all I've got is a shilling for some mutton.
We can do without the beastly mutton. Bread and butter will support life. People have lived on less on desert islands many a time.
And even if you never have anything to eat at all, you can't buy all those other things for just 1 shilling.
No, you must find some other way. Now think, everybody, just as hard as ever you can. And slowly, an idea came to us. Scissors.
A white sheet.
A pot of fire black.
And the 9:15 came out of the tunnel the next morning. We were ready.
citizen I'm to look out for?
No, Mabel. There ain't nothing to see. Just kids having a lark.
Right away!
Oh, I thought I missed you. My bootlaces kept coming undone and I fell over the place. You are the man who waved to us, aren't you?
Mind the doors, please.
Aren't you?
Yes, my dear, I wave.
Oh, take this, please. We chose you because we thought you had such a kind face.
Mind the doors, please, miss, sir.
Dear mister, we do not know your name. Mother is ill and the doctor says to give her the things at the end of the letter, but she says she can't afford it and to get mutton for us and she shall have the broth. We do not know anybody here but you, because Father is away and we do not know the address. Father will pay you, or if he has lost all his money or anything, Peter will pay you when he is in mine. We promise it on our honor. I owe you for all the things Mother wants. Signed, Peter. Will you give a parcel to the porter because of us not knowing what train you come down by? Say it is for Peter that was sorry about the coals, and he will know, all right? Roberta, Peter, Phyllis. The list: strong beet tea, grapes, soda water, and milk, and a bottle of the best brandy.
Good morning.
Good morning. Look, Mr. Perks, I said I was sorry about the coals, and I am sorry.
Why bless us. I didn't come down here to talk about no precious coals. Let bygones be bygones is what I wanted to say. No, I brought this in. Your old gentleman, he asked me to fetch it up straight away.
Thank you, and I beg your pardon I haven't got tuppence to give you like Father does.
You drop it if you please. I wasn't thinking about no tuppences. Just wanted to say I'm sorry my mom wasn't doing so well, and come to ask how she finds herself today. Oh, and I fetched her along a piece of sweetbriar. Very sweet to smell it is. Tuppence indeed.
Thank you, and I beg your pardon about the tuppence.
No offense. Well, I must be going now. Look us up at the station when you feel so inclined. And as for the coal, well, the word is, well, we won't speak of it again, eh?
Thank you. I'm very glad it's all straightened out for me now.
What is all this?
It's to help you get better.
Ooh, grapes and best brandy.
Peaches and a box of roses.
Pate de Bowie grass? Looks like meat paste.
Where did all this come from? What have you done?
And here's a letter from the old gentleman. Dear Roberta, Phyllis and Peter, it says, here are the things you want. Your mother will want to know where they came from. Tell her they were sent by a friend who heard she was ill. When she is well again, you must tell her all about it, of course. And if she says she will not have asked for the things, tell her I say you were quite right, and that I hope she will forgive me for taking the liberty of allowing myself a very great pleasure. Sincerely, G.P. something. I can't make that out.
Oh, and a bunch of sweetbriar. Mr. Perks brought it up in the hamper.
Mr. Perks? Oh! Oh, I'm sorry that I was so angry, but because I know that you didn't understand.
We didn't mean to be naughty, Mommy.
Now listen, it's quite true that we are poor, but we have enough to live on. You mustn't go telling everyone our affairs. It isn't right. And you must never, never, never ask strangers to give you things. Now always remember that, won't you? Now I will write a letter to your old gentleman, and I shall tell him that I didn't approve. Well, I shall thank him too for his kindness. It's you I don't approve of, not him. He was as kind as ever he could be. And I'll give the letter to you can give the letter to Mr. Perks to give to him, and we won't say any more about it. Now please, gather up all your old gentleman's very kind gifts and take them down to the kitchen for me, won't you?
Mr. Perks, we have a letter for you to bring to the old gentleman.
Hey, what old gentleman's that then?
The old gentleman that comes up each day on the Green Dragon. He's our friend.
She meets in 9:15 in first class. He has white hair and a lovely smile.
The old gentleman who set up the hamper for Mother?
Oh, well, I'm not sure if I could be passing on.
Perks! Perks, you forgot your lunch pail. But I bring it up for you. And little baby Alfie here needing his Napadol.
Now, you know I'm on railway business at present. Would you mind setting it on the ticket counter office for me?
Oh, locks! Me running after you like a skivvy and you with no trains at the station at all.
I'm seeing to official railway business with these here youngsters. These three are the children from the Three Chimneys.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
How do you do, Mrs. Perks?
Mr. Perks has been telling us all about the trains and the railways.
Oh, has he? Well, then I'll not interrupt his important railway business a moment longer. Besides, I think baby Alfie here needs... Oh, yes. Come along, Stanley, Stanley! Come along, Elsie. We'll get out from under your father's feet now. And don't you be late for supper again tonight, Perks. You hear me?
All right.
I can take the lunch after for you.
Now, Mr. Perks, if you have a moment, could you tell us why trains carry lanterns at the front?
Well, it'll be a few minutes until the next train arrives, so I can do just that. The lamps on the front are called headlights, and the lamps on the back are called tails.
And that just goes to show that trains really are dragons in disguise, with proper heads and tails.
And those lamps allow other trains to see it coming, and the workmen, and those at the station. And they wear the lamps in different patterns according to whether it's the express, or slow-moving goods, or the branch line.
The trains don't all seem to look alike anymore. I never noticed before.
Alike, Lord love you know, miss, no more alike than you and me. The little one without a tender that just passed by all by herself, that was a tank, that was. And she'd be doing some shunting over in Maybridge, I imagine. That'd be like you, miss. And then there's the goods engines, great strong things with 3 wheels on either side and strengthened by iron rods, which would be like me. And then there's the mainline engines, which would be like this here young gentleman when he grows up and wins all the races at his school, so he will. Mainline engines are built for speed as well as power. That would be the 915 up.
And why do the trains have such huge pipes, like great circuits hanging off the backs of them?
Well, young master, those mighty hooks and loops between the carriages, well, they connect the carriages together, and they're called pumps. And those pipes, like mighty serpents, as you so call them, well, they're meant to stop the train with. If you could get a hold of one while the train was going and pull it apart, she stopped dead with a jerk.
She? Who's she?
Why, the train, of course. And you know that thing that says 5 pounds for improper usage? Well, if you were to improperly use it, the train would stop.
And if you used it properly?
I suppose you would stop saying. But it's not proper to use it unless you're being murdered. There was this old woman once, and someone kidded her into thinking that it was refreshment room bell. And she used it improper. Not in danger of her life, although a little bit hungry. And when the train stopped and the guard came on the carriage expecting to find someone weltering in their last moments of life, she said, I'll have a backbone and a stout. And the train was 7 minutes behind as it was.
What did the guard say to the old lady?
I don't know. If I don't, she forgot it.
Good morning, Perks at 10:53 running on... Hello, head nurse. How's your mother today?
I wanted to see you.
Your mother's not worse, I hope.
No, but...
Now then, what's the trouble? Come on, out with it.
It's rather hard, you see, to out with it, because of what Mother said.
And what did Mother say?
She said I wasn't to go telling everyone that we're poor, but you aren't everyone, are you?
Not at all. Well,
I know daughters are very extravagant. I mean expensive. And Mrs. Viney told me that her doctoring only cost her 2pence a week because she belonged to a club.
yes.
Well, you see, she told me what a good doctor you were, and I asked her how she could afford you because, well, she's much poorer than we are. I've been in her house and I know. And then she told me about the club and I thought I'd ask you and, oh, I don't want Mother to be worried. Can't we be in the club too, the same as Mrs. Viney? You aren't cross with me, are you?
Cross? How could I be? You are a very sensible young woman. Now look here, don't you worry. I'll make it all right for your mother, even if I have to make a special brand new club just for her.
Thank you. Her mother did get better, thanks to Dr. Forrest's care and the wonderful gifts from the old gentleman. 3 weeks later, we painted a second banner. We displayed it for the 9:15, and the old gentleman saw it and waved a cheerful response from the train.
It was some days later, when Mother was quite well.
She went by train to Maidbridge to do shopping.
When she went there, she always went to the post office. Perhaps to post her letters to Father, she never gave them to us or to Mrs. Viney to post them, for she never went to the village herself.
Anyway, whatever she was doing, she had gone along, so we went down to the station.
And loving the station as we did, it was only natural that we should be there a good hour before there was any chance of Mother's train arriving.
Look, there'll be enough train to look out before the one that should bring Mother back.
Oh, and here comes the app. It looks like the worm of Wantley.
Upward station! Upward! Mind the gap, please!
Something's happened, come on.
It's my belief. He's nothing worse than a drunk. And at this hour.
If you ask me, I should say it was a police court case.
Not the police, the infirmary, more like.
Now then, move along here. I'll attend to this, if you please.
Пожалуйста, помогите мне. Я не знаю. Где я?
Oh, he's talking foreign.
Gobbledygook, more like.
Помогите мне. Я потерял мой кошелек и мой билет.
He isn't German, I don't think.
And it's not Latin. I've been in Latin for 4 terms. Don't remember much of it, but Latin doesn't sound like that. Latin's more hick, hike, hop.
Сударь, пожалуйста, я вас умоляю, помогите мне.
What's that he's saying?
It sounds like French to me. I once went to Calais for the day.
Is it French?
What is it then?
I don't know what it is, but it isn't French. I know that.
No, it's not French.
Try him with French if you know so much about it.
Parlez-vous français?
Dieu merci, Dieu merci, enfin un ami, mon petit
Tu ne saurais jamais combien je suis content.
There, that's French.
Aidez-moi, s'il vous plaît. Je suis perdu.
What does he say?
I don't know.
Now then, move along if you please. I'll deal with this piece.
Oh, no comprende. No comprende. Take him into your room. Mother can talk French and she'll be here by the next train from Maybridge.
Oh, that'd be a good idea. Come on, my
Oh,
fellow.
don't you see how frightened he is? He thinks you're going to shut him up. I know he does. Look at his eyes.
Just look at his eyes. They're like a fox's when the beast's in a trap.
It's your uniform. He thinks you're a policeman.
Well, let me try. I do really know one or two French words, if only I could think of them. Vous attend. Ma mère parle français. Nous. What's French for being kind?
Oh, bong is good.
Nous êtes bon pour vous. C'est bon. Ma mère arrive. C'est bon. Je vous aide.
Here's a go. No ticket, and doesn't even know where he wants to go. I'm not sure now what I ought to send for the police.
Oh, don't! Oh, Mother does speak French beautifully. You just love to hear her.
And besides, I'm sure he hasn't done anything like you're sent to prison for.
Without a visible means to me. Although I don't mind giving him the benefit of the doubt until your mama comes, I should like to know what country has credit from that I should.
Look, I've got an idea.
Foreign stamps.
They're from my collection. We'll show him these.
Regarde les stamp. Help Patrick.
This one's Spanish.
Нет.
No.
This blue one's from Norwich. Where's Norwich?
It's from Norway.
Oh, нет.
No. This one's Italian.
Нет. Ah,
Hot ER.
русский.
Rusky.
Да.
My lord, he's Russian.
Да.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, that'd be the train from Maybridge.
I'll stay with him till Mother arrives.
Are you sure you're not afraid, Missy?
Oh no, he wouldn't have you with you.
Open station! Open! Mind the doors, please. Oh, Mrs. Waterford, I have something to...
Mommy, we found a Russian.
There's a fellow over there. He's Russian, but he speaks French.
Madame, je m'appelle Chopansky. Aidez-moi s'il vous plaît. J'ai perdu mon porte-monnaie et mon billet.
Well, Mom, what's it all about?
Oh, it's all right. He's Russian and he's lost his ticket. And I'm afraid he's quite ill. If you don't mind, I'll take him home with me now. He's really quite worn out.
Well, I hope you find him and take him home with a frozen viper.
Oh, I'm quite sure I haven't. He's a great man in his own country. He writes books, beautiful books. I've read some of them. Phyllis and Peter, run along home and light a fire in the kitchen. And Bob, go and fetch Dr. Forrest.
Who is it I'm supposed to see?
Mother's got a very shabby Russian.
Your mother's got a very shabby what?
I'm sure we'll have to go to your party. I'm certain he hasn't got any money. We found him at the station.
Found him? Was he lost?
Yes, that's just what he was. He's been telling Mother the sad, sweet story of his life in French, and she said, would you be kind enough to come directly if you were at home? He's got a dreadful cough, and he's been crying. Oh, don't smile, please don't. You wouldn't if you'd seen him. I never saw a man cry before. You don't know what it's like.
Dr. Forrest.
Monsieur? Now then, I wonder what the Russian is for breathe deeply.
Monsieur, pouvez-vous respirer profondément?
Ah, that'll do it. The man seems worn out, mind and body. The cough is bad, but nothing that can't be cured. He'll need plenty of rest, keep a good fire going, and I'll pop back tomorrow and see how he's doing.
Thank you.
Monsieur?
Bobby, please help me fetch in that big black trunk from the scullery. Just here.
But Mother, these are Father's clothes. Why isn't he taking his clothes with him? And this night she had to smell of Mother's new ones. Mother, Daddy isn't dead, is he?
Oh, darling, no. What makes you think of anything so horrible?
I don't know.
Daddy was quite well last time I heard from him, and he will come home to us one day. Don't fancy such horrible ideas. Hush, darlings, the poor man is asleep.
Well, do tell us all about the Russian gentleman then.
We have been patient. Make a nice long story of it.
Well, I can't make a long story of it tonight. I'm very tired.
Make it as long as you can.
Well, it's a story long enough to make a whole book out of. He writes books, beautiful books. In Russia, at the time of the Tsar, no one dared say anything about rich people doing wrong, or about what ought to be done to help poor people be better and happier. If one did, one was sent to prison.
But they can't. One's only sent to prison if they've done wrong.
If the judge thinks they've done wrong. Well, yes, in England that's true, but in Russia things were different. And he wrote a beautiful book about how to help poor people. I've read it. There is nothing but goodness and kindness in it. And they sent him to prison for it. He was 3 years in a horrible dungeon, all damp and dreadful, with hardly any light. 3 years in prison, all alone.
But Mother, that can't be true now. That sounds like something out of a history book, the Inquisition or something.
Oh, it was true. It's all horribly true. Well, then they took him out and sent him to Siberia, a convict chained to other convicts, wicked men who'd done all sorts of crimes, a long chain of them. And they walked and walked and walked for days and weeks, until he thought that they would never stop walking. And overseers followed behind them with whips. Yes, whips, to beat them if they got tired. And some of them went lame, some of them fell down, and when they couldn't get up and go on, they beat them and left them to die. Oh, it's all too terrible. Well, and then at last they got to the mine, and he was condemned to stay there for life. For life, just for writing a good, noble, splendid book.
Well, how did he get away?
Well, when the war came, some of the Russian prisoners were allowed to volunteer as soldiers. So he volunteered, and then he deserted at the first chance.
But that's very cowardly, isn't it? To desert, especially when it's war.
Do you think he owed anything to a country that had done that to him? If he did, he owed more to his wife and children. He didn't know what had become of them.
Oh, Then he had them to think about and be miserable about too. All the time he was in prison?
Yes. He had them to think about and be miserable about all the time he was in prison. Well, for all he knew, they could have been sent to prison too. They did those things in Russia. But while he was in the mines, some friends got word to him that his wife and children had escaped and come to England. So when he deserted, he came here to look for them.
Have you got their address?
No, only England. But he was on his way to London, and when he thought he had to change at our station, and then he found that he'd lost his ticket and his purse.
Oh, do you think he'll find them? His wife and children, not the ticket and things.
I hope so. I hope and pray he will find his wife and children again someday. Dears, when you say your prayers, I think you might ask God to show his pity upon all prisoners and captives.
To show his pity upon all prisoners and captives? Is that right, Mother?
Yes. Upon all prisoners and captives. All prisoners and captives.
Recovery in just 3 days. He's not out of the woods yet, but you are certainly caring very well for your Russian guest, aren't you, head nurse?
Her mother has written several letters to people whom she thinks might know whereabouts in England a Russian gentleman's wife and children might possibly be. Members of Parliament, editors of papers, secretaries of societies, people like that.
I'm thinking he might benefit from a short sit out here in the sunshine. Fresh air, sun's warmth, there's no finer medicine. I'll call back next week.
Thank you. Well then, Bobby, I will go ask Mr. Shapansky if he would like to come outside. We'll get a basket chair for him to sit in the sun.
Wild cherries. I'm sure he'd love some.
Oh yes, the cherry trees grow on the rocky cliff where the mouth of the tunnel opens. Let's go and pick some for him.
Yes, let's.
See, there they are. I'm sure the cherries would be quite easy to get to from the side of the steps.
Hush. What's that?
Look at that tree over there.
It's moving. Oh, look, and so are the others.
Oh, it's magic. I always knew this railway was enchanted. The trees are all slowly walking down towards the railway line. Oh, what is it? What is it? I don't like it. It's much too magic for me. I want to go home.
It's all coming down. The trees and rocks and grass and bushes.
Oh, it's a landslide right across the line.
And the 1129 down hasn't gone by yet. We must let them know at the station or there will be a most frightful accident.
Let's run.
Come back. There's no time. The station's 2 miles away and it's past 11.
Oh, couldn't we climb the telegraph poles and do something to the wires?
We don't know how.
They do it in war. I know I've heard of it.
We'll only cut them, silly, and that won't do any good. And besides, even if we could get up, we haven't anything to cut them with. And we couldn't get up. If only we had something red, we could go down the line and wait for the train.
But the train wouldn't see us until it came around the corner, and then they could see the mountain just as well as us because, well, it's bigger.
If only we had something red, we could go round the corner and wait for the train.
We might wave anyway.
They'd only think it was just us as usual. We've waved so often before.
Flannel petticoats.
I beg your pardon.
Our flannel petticoats. They're red. Let's take them off.
Now.
Oh, you're not going to tear them, are you?
Shut up.
Oh, yes. Heather was little bit, if you like. Do you see, though? If we can't stop the train, there'll be a real-life accident with people killed.
All right, now sticks. Come on. left the other to myself because it was my idea to wait for the train.